Hey, all you ladies and gents. Welcome to another edition of the Play It For Podcast, Midnight Snack.
Hey! God, I'm an idiot.
Pause.
Yeah, all right. Hey, hi, I'm Haley, aka Hales, on the Rooster Teeth website.
I am Tristan, aka Shagwazir, on the Rooster Teeth website.
Whoa! You can't. No.
I thought that was a thing.
No, it's not a thing.
We're not doing a thing.
No, see, here's the thing. I'm an individual, and I'm super unique. And I'm just awesome. You can't copy awesome, because I'm awesome.
You just said individual.
Respect.
Can we just get back on track? People need to know who we are. Yo, I am Alex, a.k.a. Chaos Black 21.
And I'm Joseph, a.k.a. J Dunlap, and I refuse to give myself a gangster intro.
Oh, come on. It's the hip-hop episode.
It's the hip.
Shout out to your mama at the Midnight Snack.
It's the hip hop, hippity hop. I got a hip hop, and it don't
like
stop.
A kangaroo.
No, please stop.
Please stop.
You stop. What?
And another thing.
And another thing.
Alex, you've got something for our opening segment, don't you?
Fluffy thing.
Yes, I do. Last week on the podcast, we played Twitter games, and you're supposed to announce who was the winner of the Twitter games.
I was the winner.
And you never did, which...
Have I ever announced the winner before?
Yes, I won the first one. You said
so
I was the winner.
So you only care if you win.
No, I didn't win last time. Tristan won.
Really? I won?
Tristan had the most correct. I mean, you could also say Stuart won.
Stuart was on
the same team.
We won together. Yeah, there you go.
I actually just refuse to keep score, because that seems to anger listeners when you do that.
What's the point of the Twitter games, then?
To laugh a lot, have fun.
It's a competition where we don't actually compete.
You can't keep score in life.
I laugh each time that I see the Twitter games picture. That's just hilarious.
Yes, good job, Tristan.
Thank you. Hey, look, I'm happy for this and another thing, because he wanted to remind people that I won a thing, and I won a thing.
And I won a thing.
There you go.
What would be hilarious is if we got sued by both companies.
That wouldn't be hilarious. I think you need to understand what hilarious means before you say things.
It'd be funny all the way to the courthouse.
Courthouse?
Courthouse.
Are they going to string him up?
Courthouse is where you have lawsuits.
What's going on, Haley?
I don't know. She's upset.
No, I'm just...
She's
farting?
Is that not the same as upset?
Why is that upset? Why you gotta assume I'm upset because I'm a woman?
Whoa, respect.
Yeah.
R-E-S-B-E-C-T.
Joe, do you have something for and another thing at all?
I thought Tristan said he did.
I didn't. I was just happy that Alex had something.
Well, Tristan, you always have something.
No, I have nothing. Last week was great.
You said you had something.
I didn't. Last week was great.
I had key lime pie.
Stop interrupting Tristan. He has to say this.
Say it, Tristan.
I thought last week was great. I wouldn't change a thing.
Thank you.
I actually do have something.
We talked to Stuart last week. It was awesome. He was very British.
Yes.
But not like London British. He was like definitely kind of north of London, I think, maybe.
And he could do a mean Elvis Presley.
He could. Elvis, man.
Mr. Elvis.
Mr. Elvis. The king.
Well, a few things that I have you would have known if you watched the video, which most people do.
Okay.
First off, my joke about SOS was actually a reference to Scousers. It wasn't a reference to their poor soccer playing team.
He thought that their football team was dying.
Yeah, and he wouldn't change a thing.
He would change a thing. He wants them to dig a hole and live in it for a while.
And pretend that they have a soccer team.
Pretend that they have a football team.
And then he said that somebody could throw a cricket ball at 100 miles an hour. And I never really got to say anything about that. But, I mean, Nolan Ryan has that beat, so... And he's from Texas.
What, is he a cricket player?
No, so it's even more legitimate.
What? But we were talking about we were at the time we were discussing why whether baseball is scarier or more professional than cricket. Jokingly, of course, jokingly. And your argument was that the 95, 98 mile an hour fastballs in baseball were much scarier than what you see in cricket. And he was trying to tell you about, what did he say? Where was that guy from? Iraq or something?
Well,
he was.
I think it's the fact that they're able to get that speed while bouncing the ball.
While bouncing it off the wall.
Yes, but he didn't say that. He said the ball went 100 miles an hour. It doesn't mean that it bounced and then was going 100 miles an hour.
I think it's measured at the beater.
And another thing.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. First of all, again, I'm sorry, you guys, that I haven't been around as much as I used to be, or as, talkative, because I've just been going through a lot of stress, and so I just wanted to apologize for that. But, so, this and another thing, it kind of relates to our past podcast, but it's a really great joke. So, as you guys know, I'm also doing another project with a friend who I think at one point we're going to have as a guest on here, and I was dressed as Gavin's GTA character, and I was in the back of a car, and my friend was like, Gavin, Gav out.
Gavin, Gav out. Wax on, wax off.
Exactly, I thought it was funny, get it? Because, that whole, joke about Jafar, Jaclose. Get it?
I've never heard that.
You've never seen that?
It's my first time hearing it. I'm already going,
It was great. Okay, that was my another thing. I haven't done another thing in a very long time.
You can put on the Buzz Killington picture again, just going,
Yeah.
Your legs? Didn't know they were...
Your legs. I just, I had to come back with, a good pun. Because lately I've been really quiet on our podcast.
We've been missing the puns.
Yeah, aren't you glad we didn't actually replace Haley with Stuart, after all?
I'm glad.
Oh.
Oh, no, we're kidding. We love you, Haley. We're glad you're back.
You better.
We're glad you're back. Respect.
Okay. So, Fallout 4?
Oh!
Fallout 4
That was
trailer.
Really pretty video.
I'm
my
so
gosh.
excited.
I hope the gameplay looks like
New
that.
shorts.
Ew.
I hope you're wearing the new shorts now.
No, he
Not
just
waiting.
no, I'm not wearing
They could be
anything right
waiting
now.
for him to put them on.
it kind of
totally
worries
naked.
me. Yeah, it kind of worries me that Alex does our podcast naked.
It's just this episode. I'm hot.
It's
No,
worse
you
than a
mentioned
pants
that you've been naked before.
It's like a
hot.
pants off dance off.
Tristan last week wanted to do a no pants podcast.
I did. A no
because
pants
I wasn't
podcast.
here? Is that why?
True. Probably. I mean, do you
Yeah, we
have a
just
no
figured
pants
we'd free ball it.
Think of the children.
So Fallout 4 trailer.
It was very dog heavy, but it seems like you might have a dog companion now, which isn't that kind of the same
How
as the
funny would it
Fable? Like Fable did that?
Well, you could have a dog companion, at least in New Vegas, I know you could.
I didn't play New Vegas, and my only real experience was Fallout 3, and that was because Concubus did his Let's Play for it. And I gotta say that, while that game I thought felt, it felt right, it kind of fit the genre, the whole world is kind of brown or gray and dreary because it's supposed to be a post-nuclear apocalypse. I really enjoyed this trailer, seeing how it appeared to me like there was going to be some kind of development going on, like since the previous Fallout games, since Fallout 3 and its iterations, where everything was kind of still trying to get back on its feet. People are living in mud huts in the ruins of whatever buildings they could find. Now it looked like some actual towns had been built and some actual technology had been resurrected beyond, the rifles and meager computers you had in Fallout 3. I thought that looked like it's going to be pretty cool. There was like a really futuristic looking city with like a dirigible in it, or there was like a rocket propelled pirate ship or something on the. Do you see that?
Arr.
I saw it. Did you see it?
Yeah,
it was right there.
It looks like it. I mean, this could be taking place. I can't remember if they've stated the city at all in anything that they've put out, but it looks like it could be later, like past Fallout 3, the time during Fallout 3. I mean, if you remember Fallout 3, the machine that ended up helping plant life get back to growing again on the world. So it could be down the road when that actually happens. And
I mean, the whole
everything's
storyline for
going.
Fallout 3 was supposed to be, it was centered around finding a certain chemical compound that your father had developed, right?
Yes.
That was supposed to help regrow the world. That was like
that you could put in a machine, and the machine would help generate.
So it's possible that maybe this Fallout 4 is taking place after you finally put that plan into effect. I don't.
Yeah, years down the road, because they said it would still take lots of time.
Right. What I did notice a lot was all the flashbacks to before the nuclear holocaust occurred, and I don't remember there being too much talk about what life had been like. I think that at least Fallout 3 just kind of assumed, well, what life was like before before the nukes all went off. It was present day. But now they're showing that, we had advanced several generations and we had those hover servant bots floating around.
Well, I think it's
before the nukes went off.
It's an alternative universe, because all the stuff that you find in the Fallout series, and even the way that looked like it's still looks like it's like the 1940s, I guess, or earlier when the nukes went off. But yet they were still developed enough that they could develop these robots and these computer systems and all that.
Like a futuristic past, because they were showing that hi-fi, that radio setup that looked really old-timey, but then they pan over and there's an android, there's like a robot floating around. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of that, yeah. It didn't look quite like her. What was it, Rosie? But yeah, interesting.
I can't remember the name of the robot. I know.
Maybe it's just me, but okay. I love like post-apocalyptic games, maybe it's just me. But I was talking about this on my Twitch the other day because I was twitching Last of Us, which obviously everybody knows is like after the zombie apocalypse, or not. I mean, they're zombies, but different. What I love about those kind of games, and maybe I don't know if I'm probably not the only person who picks up on it, but like the settings, like abandoned houses or abandoned malls, like they're so void of life, but at the same time they're so full of life. Because you can see they're a story within themselves. You can see how the person perhaps lived, or what they liked, or I don't know. You can pick up on so much, and there's just the things like that. Like I saw it in Last of Us, and you're definitely going to see it in these games. I mean, you've seen it in these games, so it's really it's the small details like that like really always draw me into a video game. Like I don't know. I'm always that person, like, I play Legend of Zelda, and I go into, like, a small house, and I'm like, where's the bed? Where do they all sleep? This is weird.
I just look for the rupees.
Okay,
I can agree with that ambiance sucking you in, because that was, like, the big thing that pulled me into BioShock when BioShock first came out. I felt like they nailed that 50s vibe to it, just the speech patterns and the decorations and the propaganda. It all just fit, and I thought that was just a really well done game with very good world building, in my opinion. I really enjoyed how they pulled it together with that ambiance, and I'm seeing that here. I'm looking at an image from the video, and it does, like, all the refrigerator and stoves are that teal green and kind of rounded around the edges, just like what you'd see in the 50s. Yeah, very, very, very 40s and 50s look.
It reminds me of that movie. What was it with Brendan Fraser?
Fisher. What was he? No,
Mummy.
The Mummy.
No, it wasn't that movie. I mean, yes, he was in that movie, but not.
That's the only movie I know about Brendan Fraser.
He was in Scrubs.
George of the Jungle.
He was in George of the Jungle. That's true.
By the way, that robot is a Mr. Handy.
Mr. Handy. It's got 3 hands. No, Joe, don't do it.
I refrain.
But no, what was the movie?
I'm looking. Hold on. I know it. It's like something.
While she's
Remember
thinking of the
Crystal
movie,
Skull.
I wanted to bring some perspective to the trailer viewing from the viewpoint of someone who had never played a single Fallout game. I've watched a good friend play some of Fallout New Vegas.
Blast from the past. Sorry. That was
yeah.
it. Sorry.
Congratulations.
Aha! Yahtzee!
I actually think
I've
I
seen
remember
someone
that
play
movie.
Fallout New Vegas. I've never played any Fallout myself. And I watched the trailer because I wanted to know what was going on and what was so exciting about it. So I wanted some perspective from you guys who have played a Fallout game before.
Okay.
Because there were certain things about the style of storytelling and the cinematic style of the video and what they're showing you that I wondered maybe made more sense to someone who had played a game, one of the games before, either because they were showing elements that are familiar or because they're showing events that you already know about. So let's break down what happens. A dog walking into a house, and they keep swapping between before the nuclear apocalypse and after. So that's an event that is known to be part of the Fallout storyline.
Now, I could be wrong, but as far as my knowledge goes, that's all that was really known. Like, I don't think that any of the other games really went into what happened. It was just, there was a nuclear apocalypse, and now you're struggling to survive in this barren wasteland with mutated people and rival gangs. So I think this might the way this struck me was that you were getting more story like from what the past was like than any other game has yet given you.
So there's a voice talking as they keep swapping timelines. I've never seen a trailer that swaps timelines like constantly. I've always seen a trailer that will show what life was like in the past and then pan through the house and then the dog walks in and that's it. Or maybe like a zombie movie where maybe it's like a barber shop and a bunch of people and then it pans maybe and the zombies walking through the building. So a voice starts talking. Was it from a radio or was it from a TV?
Yeah, it was. I think it was from. Well,
it was the TV. It was the
could be either
emergency.
one.
Well, it was the emergency broadcast. You can actually see it on the screen of the television.
Please stand by.
Right.
So the guy on
And they
the
were
TV starts
announcing.
freaking out
Right.
because they lose track of their reporters or something, right?
He was saying something about Vaultec having a record number, which I'm assuming is like has to do with probably the number of people that were registering for vaults or something like that. And yeah, that's when I guess the bombs hit, and so they lose contact with other stations.
So
And
at that point in the video, the dog is walking into the child's room, and then it shows the couple, and they're looking over their baby as if the guy on the TV is not freaking out, which was confusing to me. It seems like at that moment they would be grabbing the baby and running, or something. I'm not sure.
It sounded to me like the emergency broadcast was still saying things like, stay in your home and bunker down, and then toward the end of the broadcast you hear the voice go, wait, we've lost something, and then
It was like we lost.
We lost contact with other stations.
Yeah.
But the family still never
after,
reacted.
Well, after he said that is when they started showing the people outside the houses.
Then the dog's running up the bridge, right?
They might be trying to figure out what they should do at that point, and so they were there in the room. They're probably going to grab the child, but at that point they were still trying to figure out exactly what they should do.
Yeah, are they safer in the house or outside the house? Can the nukes
I
get
guess
them
I
in
was
their
confused because when I was watching it, it looked like they were just kind of, oh, baby, it's a baby. Let's look at the baby.
From
Like
what
they
I could
really
hear from the
acting.
TV, nobody knew that there were nukes going off yet.
I assumed there were nukes going off.
Yeah, but that's because we have the power of hindsight.
I guess you could call it that, video game hindsight.
It's
So
video
then
game
the dog's running up the bridge
it's
and the people are running up
hindforesight.
the bridge. And then what are they trying to get to? There's like a billboard with people on it, and then there's people like coming up off the bridge up to a fence, and there's a guard. What is that? Alex, is that something that we should know?
It's probably the location of the vault that was the nearest vault to that city.
So what are the vaults?
Bomb
The
shelters.
vaults,
Yeah, bomb
the vaults were bomb
Fallout.
shelters that they were
Get it?
designing because
It's
What?
the vaults are the only reason that anyone's still alive, and the people who were not in the vaults either died or became the mutants that you see in the other games.
So why
Get it,
weren't the
get it,
guards letting
guys?
them in? Was it because they hadn't bought their ticket into the vault?
it could be that they didn't register. It also could be that they were to capacity, so they couldn't fit any more people.
So I'm sensing some sort of subplot thing from the past where people either registered for the vault or they had to live in uncertainty as to whether they would die in a nuclear fallout.
Yes.
Nuclear fire, nuclear winter, nuclear
So
everything.
like out of control government trying to control people's lives and that kind of thing.
But I don't remember enough of the other games to know if any of them says how much time has passed since the people entered the vault, to when they start leaving the vaults and finding the world destroyed.
It was a few. I feel like it was a few hundred years or
That's
so.
a long time to spend in these little underground complexes.
I mean, it was
They
at least. I would say it's at least 50 years.
I mean, they're usually, those kind of things are usually stocked really well. Because back in those days, there was always that, like, oh, the Russians are going to bomb us. Okay, that was a terrible...
That was an
whatever.
American being afraid of Russians.
I know, right? I don't even know. But, like, they'd be fully stocked for years. They'd have first aid kits. They'd have gallons of water. They'd have all this, like, cans of food. They'd have beds. They'd have stuff to let them survive for...
I would say it's at least 20 or 30 years, going off the fact that Fallout 3, your dad was working on stuff before because they were somewhat preparing, because they knew, I mean, there was already tensions were high, so they knew that there was a possibility that stuff could go down.
But you play like a 17-year-old girl in that game, right?
I mean, if you want to be a girl, I played a guy.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Kristen's a girl.
I don't know if you can change your gender or
I think
not.
the default that you start with is like a 17-year-old girl.
No, I always thought the default was a guy, and you could switch to a girl, maybe.
Tristan's just trying to admit that he's a 17-year-old girl. I mean, we haven't seen him face to face.
This is getting weird.
But no, you didn't. You start as a child in Fallout 3, and then it flashes forward to when you're like 10, because that's when you get your Pit Boy, and then it flashes again to when you're like, basically high school age.
So the child is androgynous before that? Is that what you're saying?
You pick your race after you come of age. You pick your gender after you come of age. You pick a race. You pick a race. You pick a gender, and then
He's
you pick
a role
height.
player. Okay, I want to be an elf, female.
Female elf, warlock.
Tristan has become Jack.
I want to be level 7. Everybody
Joe,
else
is there any other?
Yes, I had things I wanted to say. First off, Haley, when you said, the Russians are going to bomb us, I was thinking, hey, I am an American just like all of you. Oh no, the Russians. Like Russian trying to get in the bomb shelter with the Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
I mean, the thing is that the enemy force is actually the Chinese. The communist China is what they kind of focus on, not Russia at all, which is kind of interesting.
I was just making a joke.
Yeah.
I know. I was just that's another thing with the Fallout.
Okay, it's Fallout lore.
The Fallout world. Yeah, it's not Russia.
I also wanted to know whether they had working plumbing, if they're going to be in that shelter for a full generation.
I do know that the vaults, from what I've seen of Fallout 3, are really extensive facilities in some cases.
Yeah.
They range in size a bit, but they're all very large.
So they don't have a poop corner. That's all I wanted to know.
They have bathrooms.
Okay, that's good to know.
And
I just remember that you had to hack your way through a lot of things and pick your way into lockers and such.
Oh, that's cool. Is Fallout 3 you're actually going into vaults?
Okay, well that was one of the things.
Vaults, yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, so one thing to note, you were asking about how the story is told. It's a Bethesda game, and if you've played Bethesda games, Bethesda's the company that made all of the Elder Scrolls games. So it's a role-playing game. You go in, you choose what you're good at, and then you level things up. And you level things up by doing them, so you can... And the game is told in quests. It's handed to you, so here's your first mission. Find your dad. And so you go look for him here. He's not there. Oh, but you talk to this person, you learn something new. Go there, and it's all set like that. And then it branches off into side quests. That's how all the Bethesda games seem to be done. All the Fallouts and the Elder Scrolls games. Is there's a main story arc, and then there are several side quests that are handed to you to help flesh out the world. If you want to do the side quests, or if you just want to stick to the main story arc, it's just here's the story of you looking for so-and-so and learning such and such and doing this and that.
I was referring to the storytelling in the actual trailer, but it's been cleared up that the reason that the timelines were being shown in parallel was because it was very important to know what happened prior to the nuclear holocaust.
See what we've lost, where we came from.
Yeah, because usually they'll just briefly show what life was like prior, and then just move on from that. But considering you guys have gone this long playing these games and not knowing really what happened prior to the detonations, it seems like it might be part of the story of this new game to get little flashbacks like that, perhaps.
I think it'd be cool if you flashed back and forth either to a younger version of your character or to another character to before all this happened, to see what, those last moments, those last days, even as the world began to fall apart. I think that'd be an interesting part of the lore to flesh out.
I think you're going to find out that it's just one long game of Civ.
Well, I was going to say that in Fallout 3, there is one side mission that you do that you can you get flashbacked. You're like in a small neighborhood that is before the bombs go off. And so you do get to kind of see what life was like before then.
That's pretty cool. Anything else on Fallout?
I just wanted to ask Tristan, and I mean, you guys can chime in too, but I wanted to see what he figured that Bethesda would release Fallout 4.
When do I think it'll release?
Yes.
Well, now that they've announced it, they announced that Tamriel Unlimited would come out. They did that at 6 months in advance. But they're trying to hype this up. Usually the advertising goes on a few months. I'd say maybe 3 to 4 months now. Although
E3's coming up, isn't it?
E3 is coming up.
That's when we're thinking they're actually going to release the release date.
I would say the actual date or when it'll come out is probably later, probably near Christmas.
Well, according to the interwebs, full details will be unveiled on June 14th at E3.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
So that does not mean the game is coming out, but they will talk more in depth and give you all the details about specifications and release date. Yeah. So so that's June. I'm gonna stick with 4 months.
Now,
so what is that?
I'm thinking September.
10. That's October.
I'm thinking it's probably November. I'm gonna go with November, but I like how everyone's kind of has that idea that they're going to be releasing it that soon, because Bethesda is known for not releasing pretty much any details about their games until they have it all fleshed out. They have working things for people to try on, and then they release it not far after they announce it.
It always works out for them. I can still remember going to PAX East a couple years ago and trying out the early versions before the open, and it was never an open beta, it was an invite, it was a closed beta. You had to get invited. Before the closed beta went live, when they were still in alpha, they allowed you to come in and try out the Elder Scrolls Online, and that whole area was walled off. You couldn't see into it at all, and they only let so many people in. I didn't stand in the line for that. It was too long a line. But I played in the closed beta, and that game came out great. So I think that whatever Bethesda's and ZeniMax is the other company they generally work with on these games, whatever they do, they've got the right idea.
Anything else in Fallout?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I had a thing, and then we're going to play Twitter games.
Twitter games.
Okay, so this past weekend was the largest Magic the Gathering tournament ever on record. It was Grand Prix Las Vegas. Not only is that worth noting, but there was a thing that happened that became controversial, and as a result gained traction because of the amount of people that were there. There's a very valuable card that you have to realize when people draft cards at tournaments like this, the cards are stamped, so they can't like swap out a really good card for like in place of a really bad card. It has to be stamped. And so what tends to happen is if you pull a money card and it's foil, which is like shiny, and it's stamped, that adds to the value a lot of times, depending on the card. And this guy pulled one of the most valuable cards you could possibly have as a foil stamped, and it was in the final 8. And so, like, this is working towards the winner of the whole thing. And he looked at it, and the commentators were going, whoa, it's that. And so it was between that or, like, a really good kill card. And it was very controversial that he chose this money card rather than the kill card, just because people were accusing him of just money drafting.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big controversy. The card itself was called Tarmogoyf, and so it became trending as Goyfgate. And,
oh God! So
guy,
when you say it's a money card, you mean to say that it has a high dollar value, and he chose it because it has a high dollar value rather than a high strategy value in game?
Yeah, in game it's good, but a lot of people said that he needed to have the kill card since it was a limited format. It was a draft format, which means that you take what you can get. And so it was a big controversy, people saying it was disrespectful to the game for him to do that. A lot of people saying you'd have done the same thing. Other people saying, I mean, if you wanted to get that kind of value, just don't show up if you don't intend to win the whole thing. And other people saying it still gave him a good shot at winning the tournament. He didn't end up winning. He ended up losing. By some people's count, to the card he didn't end up drafting. But it became known as Goyfgate, and he very quickly put the card on eBay. Not only is it a foil Tarmogoyf with a stamp on it, but there's also all this controversy around it at the largest tournament they've ever run. So that adds some value to it. So he put it up. He tweeted, "Make Magic history. Tarmogoyf is on eBay. 50% of the proceeds will be donated to Gamers Helping Gamers charity." So then all this controversy going on, people saying, well, you should have just played to win because you would have ended up with $4,000 and a foil Tarmogoyf. I mean, you'd be lucky to fetch $250, $300 is what people were saying. No, actually, it's currently going for $16,000.
Jeez.
I'd like $16,000. I'd put that in the bank.
I mean, it would be $8,000.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, you're right. Because the other half goes to Gamers Helping Gamers.
But that's twice what the guy who won got. It was a 4K. So he's going to walk away. At the moment, there's 5 days and 4 hours left. And he's already going to walk away with $8,000 in his pockets. So
I mean, you have to wonder about the people who are putting that kind of money down for something like this.
It's people who have the money to burn and want to be able to... I mean, why do people buy expensive things that are useless? Because they want to tell the story about why they got it.
I guess so.
In this case, you can say, this was the biggest Grand Prix ever run. This was a guy who made the top 8. It was trending on Twitter. There was a huge controversy, and I have the card. So, yeah, I guess it was somebody who also, I guess, wanted to contribute towards charity, figured this was a good chance to do so.
Trophy collectors.
Yeah, and I actually tweeted at one point, don't act like you guys wouldn't have done the same thing. Hindsight's 20/20. Let's move on to the Twitter games before we wrap up, because this one is going to be fun. They're all fun, by the way.
The Twit games.
This one is called #ClickbaitAmovie.
Huh.
And that's where somebody gives a description of a movie in a way that sounds like a clickbait article.
What's clickbait?
Clickbait is where a description is given for an article, and it wants to bait you into clicking on it.
Okay.
It makes the article sound more interesting than it is.
Things like weight loss trainers hate this guy because he figured out 5 simple tricks. Or this military guy finds a dog and what happens next will move you to tears. Things that I refuse to click.
I didn't know there was a term for that.
Yes, clickbait.
Cool. Okay.
BuzzFeed is one notorious website for that.
Yeah.
Crack.com, very guilty. So this is clickbaiting movie synopses, and you have to figure out what the movie is.
All right, we all have to figure out a sound to make to ring in with our thing.
The sound is
going to be throwing up.
What was the sound that Haley was making?
That'll be mine.
She was pooping.
And Alex, what's your sound going to be?
Hey, Chicka-Bob-Bob.
Takes longer, but okay.
I'm going to throw up before you finish saying that.
The first clickbaited movie is, who is P. Sherman, and what is going on at 42 Wallaby Way? I'll finish, and then you can go.
Okay.
Wallaby Way in Sydney, Australia? The answer might surprise you. What is it?
Finding Nemo.
Yeah! My son's been watching that movie since he was like a year and a half old, and he's 5 now.
I would never have guessed that.
Really?
42 Wallaby...
In a million billion years.
P.
I've
Sherman,
never seen the
42
film.
Wallaby Way, Sydney, Australia.
You've
Oh,
never
yeah.
seen Finding
You need to
Nemo?
watch it.
Never. In my
Oh my
life.
god, what is wrong with you?
Go watch it. Now,
Nothing.
wait.
I don't think. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me put the podcast on hold while I go watch it. Come back. And go.
Alex, since you care about the score and everything, you're going to keep score.
Okay.
Haley's got 1 point.
1
Alex is on
point
my
for
team.
Haley.
Tristan, you can't
That's
keep
what
putting
he's
people on your team.
I can't.
Hazel has 1 point.
Okay,
Joseph's
next
on my
one. Next movie. This guy went from nerd to jacked overnight. How he did it will blow your mind.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know, Teen Wolf or something?
No.
No, he went from...
Nerd to jacked.
Oh,
Oh.
wait, I do know what it is. I do know what it is.
Is
Oh,
it...
well, she farted, so whatever.
Dude, I did not fart. Is it like
I feel like
Hulk?
there's a time limit.
Yes, it's the Hulk.
Oh, it is?
The Hulk is the only one who goes to jacked from being a nerd.
No,
No,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I was gonna-
Spider-Man
my
was
first
what I
guess
was going to
was
say.
Spider-Man.
It's
I was
debatable.
going to say
It's
Spider-Man.
But Spider-Man,
debatable
I
whether
would
he was a
say got
nerd and whether he
jacked.
was jacked.
Spider-Man didn't get jacked.
Yeah,
Peter
just-
I
didn't
don't
get
know.
jacked. He just got
You could
stronger.
say maybe he got ripped,
Captain
but he didn't
America
get
If you go back,
went
to the
from-
Sam Raimi,
Captain America
he
went.
was
I mean, he wasn't
chicken
exactly
soup.
nerdy.
He wasn't
but
a
he was
nerd,
scrawny.
though. He was
No, he
scrawny,
was,
but he wasn't a nerd. Are you saying nerds are scrawny?
Nerds are generally scrawny.
No, that's not even true. Okay, next movie. This is no ordinary bunny rabbit. What happens next will shock you. What is it?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's all.
laughing at you,
What
but
other
that was
movie
what-
has a rabbit in it?
No ordinary bunny rabbit. What happens next will shock you.
Yeah.
What is it?
Space Jam?
No.
I don't know that many
This
movies
is
with
no
bunnies.
ordinary bunny rabbit. What happens next will shock you.
That doesn't help at all.
Pointy fangs.
Oh.
Sharp, pointy teeth.
Blah.
What is it?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes.
Okay, that is the worst, though.
I haven't
Okay,
even
that
seen the whole entire Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, that's your
like,
problem.
I love Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but the bunny is only like 5 seconds of the whole damn movie.
And it's very quoted. Very.
It
very-
is. I
very
will say that
quoted.
it is, but could have done something better.
Okay,
Very
so the
much.
score is 2 points Hazel, half point for Tristan because he got one wrong. He got it wrong before he got it right.
Do I lose points for getting things wrong,
we
or
don't
do I
lose
just
points.
get multiple guesses?
I'm the scorekeeper here.
Fine. I get half.
Whatever.
Actually, so it's 1.5 points, Haley, because she said a wrong answer before that.
No, I didn't. I said Finding Nemo, and then I said
Yeah,
Oh.
and you said
Roger
then
Rabbit.
Who Framed
Who
Roger
Framed
Rabbit, which is the wrong answer.
Okay, next movie. Man claims to have lived for hundreds of years with one simple diet trick. Watch his interview here. Hundreds of years, one simple diet trick. So I changed to his diet, and he has an interview.
I have.
What is it?
Is it Interview with a Vampire?
Yes,
Oh,
the diet trick being that he sucks blood.
Blood. Gotcha.
all right. We're tied. 1.5. 1.5.
Okay. You will not believe what these Jamaicans are doing to get into the Olympics. What is it?
Cool Runnings.
Yes!
Yeah, it's
No
like one of my
idea.
favorite movies.
Okay, this one, there's a lot of correct answers, so whoever gets a correct answer.
Mm.
This billionaire's parents were murdered. What he did next was inspiring.
Yeah.
What is it?
Batman?
Yeah!
What
Yeah.
are the other
Wait,
answers?
hold on. Hey, Chicka
There's
Bumpa.
lots of Batman films.
What is it?
No. Yeah, but not one of them was just called Batman. So
Yes, it
Batman
was.
Begins.
No, that is a lie. The Tim Burton film was just called Batman.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
I'm looking that up.
The one with Michael Keaton.
I'm giving
and
him the point. So we can move on.
Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. That was just called Batman.
Okay, next movie. This one says, and this is on your Facebook feed, you're scrolling down and then you see a link that says, she was born without legs, she married into royalty, her story will inspire you.
What? She was born with no
Born
legs.
without legs, married into royalty.
I have no idea.
It's a Disney cartoon. It's a musical. She sings.
No way.
She marries a prince, but she was not born with legs.
Oh!
What is it?
The Little Mermaid!
Yes!
I'm thinking, this is literally what I was thinking. I was like, she's
Stumps.
a cripple in a wheelchair, and she
Stumps
made
McGee.
it.
Yeah, Stumps. It's that obscure Disney musical called Stumpy.
The obscure
I
Disney
was
princess
like,
Stumps
I was
McGee.
like, I literally was like, the last time I checked, I have not seen a musical of anybody in a wheelchair going up to their prince saying, yeah, I found you. I rock and rolled my way over
Yeah,
to you.
damn it, I'm right.
I hate you, Tristan.
Okay,
Love
one
you too,
more.
Alex.
One more. 2 women fight to death over shoes. Click here to see who won. What was that?
I'm thinking and laughing at the same time.
Thought it was a frog.
I don't know. I can
So
always
2 women,
guess.
there's shoes involved, and there's death involved.
Blah.
What is it?
Devil Wears Prada?
No.
Shoes.
Actual death is involved. It involves a woman with shoes. And another woman
Got
wants
shoes.
those shoes.
Oh!
What is it?
Wizard of Oz.
Yes!
Oh, I'm so good.
The original chick flick.
Yeah.
Ew,
Women
I
fighting
hate that
over
movie, to be
shoes.
quite honest. I hate Wizard of Oz.
Okay, I guess we can wrap up. Tristan, you're going to be where next week after we record our podcast?
I'm gonna be in Austin. I'm a fly. I'm gonna
By the
come
way, I think
visit.
they
I'm gonna
tied.
come visit Joseph down in Texas.
Although I have to drive to see you, but I was already planning a vacation anyway, so
There you
we're just
go.
going to line it up with your trip. We're going to drive through Austin, and as you said, we're going to supper. So that's what's going on. So we're going to have to record a little bit early, like we did this week, so that we can get that done before Tristan flies off and before I leave the next morning. So, yeah, and Tristan, what's your reason for going to Austin?
I'm looking at apartments there. Gonna try and find a place to move into.
That's awesome, because then if that works out, you'll be there before RTX.
I will, and I won't have to get a plane.
Okay, let's wrap up.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, everyone, say goodnight.
Wait, I was the one
night.
who's supposed to end it here.
Fine, you
because you're
end
the
it.
one keeping track of the time.
He was the one keeping track of score.
And
Yeah,
they-
who
you
won, by the
tied.
way?
I think
Who
it was
won?
a tie. I think
Was
they
it tied?
tied.
Oh, you think they tied? You're a terrible scoreboard.
Caboose, you want to say goodnight to everyone?
Have a great night.
Good night.
That was
Good night.
exciting.
I enjoyed it.
It's time for a nap time.
It comes before pants time.
Here comes the sun.
No, but
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
pants time goes before nap time.
Oh, we talked about this.
Worst thing ever.
Good night, everybody.